Hey guys, it's Mandy. You know I love Hand and Stone Massage and Facial Spa in Tyler, and one of the things I love the most is they're always doing new things. And I recently tried their new sports massage, and I've got to tell you, it's incredible. So you know I'm active and I'm always focused on wellness, and this is just one more thing that I am adding in to my routine because now I'm hooked. They use the Theragun, which of course is going to help increase blood flow to certain areas and muscles that might be sore or tired or need attention, but you also get to add on another upgrade. You know, whenever I was there, I chose to go ahead and do the cup gliding as well as the hot stones. They work really well with the Theragun, maybe like a triple threat. Definitely ask for it the next time you go in to Hand and Stone. Ask about the sports massage. You can book your appointment today online at handandstonetyler.com, or you can stop by and see them. They're located in South Tyler in the Cumberland Shopping Center. Welcome back to the Celebrating Women podcast. I'm Mandee Montana with my special guest, Stephanie Taylor. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
I'm
glad to be back.
Yes, of course. We had so much fun the last time talking about, you know, what people want to be when they grow up and what that process is like. So this is a little bit of a departure, but it's something that you and I both have a passion for and we both love. We want to talk about travel.
Yes, we love to travel. And I think if anybody listening has children, one of our number one things that we always said, and this, you know, this may not be popular opinion, but my husband and I always decided that when you travel with your children, it's a trip. And when you travel by yourself or with your girlfriends or with your spouse, it's a vacation.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
There's a distinction.
Yes.
Family equals trip, spouse, friends, or by yourself equals a vacation.
Yeah, because you're kind of working on that trip with your kids, aren't you, a little bit? Corralling and caring for and parenting.
When they're little, it never stops. Like you have to feed them. Our kids range from 23 to 14, so they're self-sufficient. So last week we took a quick trip. It's still called a trip. We took a quick trip to Austin just to get out of town. We're wrapping up summer as soon as the kids are, you know, getting ready and back to school, and we're already thinking about that. And so we're like, let's just get out of town for a couple of days. I would still consider it a trip. But you always want your trips and vacations and traveling in general just to be magical. And I think a lot of times, and I was just thinking about this too, you know, so then we post all the great things on social media.
The highlight reel.
The highlight reel.
Yes.
And so then you're like, oh, look at those beautiful emerald water. I want to go there. But you don't see the behind the scenes of chasing kids and jellyfish stings and all those things that we know come with trips. And so I just wanted to encourage other ladies out there to distinguish, to set their expectations, right? Like, okay, is this a trip or a vacation? And we know things are going to go wrong. And that's okay. And so I asked my kids last week, I just said, tell me some of your favorite traveling memories. All four of them very quickly answered with one of our funniest memories, but is the worst trip we've ever been on.
Really?
That was their number one answer.
Their favorite memory.
Their favorite memory.
The worst trip.
And we laughed. We laughed hysterically. So I have to tell you the story.
Yeah, please tell me.
Worst trip ever. So we traveled with another family, and they have two sons. So there's four of them, six of us. So when you travel with us, it's always a circus. And if you don't know, people lovingly refer to us as the Taylor Circus.
Oh, fun. I can see that.
My parents, our other family, friends, it's always a circus. And we've gone on several trips with this family, and it always feels like they're like slapping their foreheads when they travel with us.
Like, what are we doing?
Like
we love you, but
we
what are
bring
we
the
doing?
show and the entertainment. And yeah, we have group chats all the time where we're like, "Are you still friends with us?" We haven't traveled together in a while, and they'll respond to me like, "There's a reason for that. You're a circus." And so we decided we were going to travel with this family, and it was actually a Christmas gift. When your kids get to the age, and there's a pretty big gap, but Our kids are adults. Half of them are adults. And then we have a teenager. And so it's, what can we do together that interests everyone? So we planned a ski trip. No one had ever been skiing before.
Okay.
Except for me. And I love to ski. We decided we were going to give it to him for Christmas, and then we were going to leave. And we left right after Christmas, and we were going to spend the New Year's on this trip. So my friend is a great planner. And so she planned the whole thing.
Had any of them skied before? The other family?
The husband.
Okay. So there's just a couple of you with experience.
Yes.
I gotta see where this might be going.
She rented our condo. We reserved snowmobiles for the day that we got there to do something fun, before skiing. We prepaid for all of our skiing because it's cheaper that way. She put everybody in ski school.
Smart.
Except for me and her husband and Hudson, because at this point and he's my youngest. I thought, well, he's still young enough that I can just pull him aside. We can do greens and bunnies, and I can teach him how to ski. The others probably need some instruction.
Yeah.
Well, so leading up to Christmas, my husband's back went out.
Oh.
And so I just kept saying, let's cancel the trip. He's like, no, this is their Christmas gift. Like, we haven't bought anything. Like, this is what we've been planning. And so I said, okay, against my better judgment, you should always go with your gut. But his back was hurting. It got worse and worse. And he ended up having back surgery.
Oh, my.
In February following this trip.
Oh.
So, that's how bad it was. It wasn't just like my back is
Go to the
out.
chiropractor, get an adjustment, you're fine. Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyway, we decided to go on the trip. My oldest son is in college, so he comes home. We tell them, my college kids, be here on this day at this time, no later. Well, we're standing outside, getting ready to leave for a trip, and they're not here. And we're waiting and waiting. Reminder, we have friends that we're meeting in New Mexico that day.
Are you driving or flying?
We're driving.
Okay.
So that's good news. So anyway, we're late. We're a late start. We get on the road. I'm driving because my husband's back hurts, so he needs to be able to flex. And so we hit like Wichita Falls, and it's a torrential downpour.
Ooh.
And so it's storming the whole way. So we finally get into New Mexico. It's getting dark. It's getting cold, and there's a blizzard. I'm not kidding. We left Texas, and my youngest was wearing shorts, and so it's just a blizzard, and it's just coming down, and the temperature is just dropping.
And you're from here, so it's not like you have a lot of experience driving in a blizzard.
Yeah. I'm not interested in driving in snow.
No. Why?
And we're in a truck, and all of our luggage is in the back, and all of us are in front. And there's 6 of us. So again, all 6 of us in a truck.
Wow.
Yeah. So 3 in the front, 3 in the back.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It was lovely. And so I tell my husband, you have to get on that Hilton app. That's all I could think of. Get on the app. See if there's a place. Because we were supposed to spend the night in Albuquerque. We're not anywhere. We're barely in New Mexico. We're not anywhere close to Albuquerque.
Right.
And so he finds this hotel in this little town called Tucumcari, New Mexico.
Okay.
I don't know if you've ever heard of it.
No.
If you drive to Colorado frequently. And I'm not even sure I'm pronouncing that correctly, but that's how we pronounce it at the Taylor household. Tucumcari, New Mexico. And so we pull over, get this hotel. Everyone, there's a line, and everyone that's walking up to the desk, they're like, I'm sorry, we're sold out. Because if you get stuck, New Mexico, there's nothing.
Yeah.
Between that Tucumcari and Albuquerque, I was terrified that we were going to get stuck. 7 degrees outside in a blizzard
6
on
of
the
you in the
side
truck.
of the road, 6 of us in a truck, which were already
irritated with each
getting
other.
on each other's nerves. And so, Tucumcari, New Mexico is where our trip took a turn for the worse.
Okay.
And so, we're all in shorts and a t-shirt.
Oh, no.
So anyway,
You had a room, though, because you were on the Hilton app.
A one king size bed.
6 people.
6 people. Now, I'll tell you, like, I have booked wrong hotel rooms before. We're at Disneyland. I thought I booked a suite. I didn't. So we made a tent under the table that's in the room, which was really fun because my kids
they're
love
little.
sleeping in the tent, and that's when they were little. They weren't so little on this trip.
Making a tent
So
for
I was
adults.
just like, look, this is survival mode. Like, we can't be stuck in this truck in a blizzard. So we're going to go in this hotel. I don't care where you sleep. I don't want to hear any complaints. Like, we're just going to sleep. We're going to get up in the morning and head to Durango. So we get in this hotel room. It's the last room, and he's just turning people away right and left. And there are no other hotels. And so anyway, we get in this room, and of course my kids, like, one starts jumping on the bed, and the other 2 teenagers start going through all the cabinets. I don't know why. And then, of course, there's one in the bathroom, because 6 people in one bathroom is always a good idea. Anyway, so all of a sudden, my boys are looking through all the cabinets, and they open this cabinet, and they close it real quick. And they're like, Father. They love to call him Father. My husband, Father. Or Mr. Father. And it drives them nuts. They're like, Father. And then they close it. So then Hudson, who's the little one, he's like, what's in there? What's in there? What's in there?
Oh, no.
And then they open again. Then they shut it again. So they bring my husband over and opens the cabinet. And it's an adult toy.
Oh! That's okay.
You did not expect me to say that.
Actually, I thought it's either going to be an adult toy or a rat.
Those were the 2 things that popped into my mind, too. I was like, is there a rodent in this room? Okay, so it's like a giant hot pink toy. And so my husband's like, oh my God. And my little guy's just like, what's in there? What's in there? I'm like, oh my gosh. And so Chris grabs a towel from the bathroom, and he doesn't want our daughter to know, we're trying to like shield everyone.
How old is she?
At this point, I mean, she was older. She was a teenager.
Okay.
Maybe 14.
But not like 19.
No.
There's a big difference between that.
She's probably about 14 when we took this
not
trip.
ready to see that.
So he grabs a towel out of the bathroom, and he reaches up in the cabinet, grabs the towel, and he goes down to the front desk. And mind you, there's all these people trying to find shelter from a blizzard. And I'm like, what do you think you're going to do? And he's like, I don't know.
But he can't stay here.
I'm going to return it or something before someone in our, hotel room tries
to play with it.
I don't know. He's like, I'm just going to take the front desk. And so the guy at the front desk is, trying to help all these people. And so Chris is standing there, and he's like, I just want to give you something. And finally, the guy's like, Sir, what is it? And he said, and he's just trying to hand him this towel, like, just take this, and maybe in the back room. And he goes, Sir, can you just open the towel? And because he's so flustered with all these people, so Chris opens the towel in the lobby of this hotel. All these people taking shelter from this rain. I mean, you can just hear the gasps like,
oh my gosh.
And the poor guy at the front desk, he goes, a manager will reach out to you about your hotel bill. Thank you. Anyway, of course, we got a free hotel stay out of it, which, I was pleasantly surprised about.
Somebody's probably missing that toy somewhere, Stephanie. They didn't realize they left it behind.
Well, I know. So we're like, okay, we have snowmobile reservations in Durango, and we haven't even made it 5 hours yet the next day. So we're like, we got to get up early. We got to hit the road. We don't know what the traffic's going to be like. We don't know what the weather's going to be like. So we get up the next morning. Kids run downstairs to get all, free breakfast, whatever. And one of our kids is stuck in the restroom. Not stuck, but
not feeling well.
Not feeling well in the restroom. And we're like, okay, we have to get on the road. We have to get on the road.
But also, once you're on the road...
But is it just,
Is it just now, or is this going to be recurring? We don't know.
we didn't know. So we get on the road. We're headed down the road. We're trying to get there as quick as we can. The traffic is horrible. And every time I hit my app to update, the time gets longer and longer.
Oh.
So a couple of hours in, our friends are like, okay, well, we're here in Durango. We made it in the condo and checked in. And I'm just like, ugh. So at one point, I realized we are not going to make our non-refundable snowmobile reservation. Mm-hmm. So at this point, you know, like as a mom and you've coordinated all this, and I am not typically a crier. I just burst into tears.
Aww.
And the vacation hasn't even started yet. Well, that's because it's a trip, not a vacation. So the trip, I feel like, hasn't even started yet, and we're on day 2, and we're not even close to where we need to be.
Aww.
And so, anyway, I have my meltdown. I recover.
While you're driving, unfortunately.
While I'm driving.
Oh.
Husband is feeling really bad.
Because he can't fix it.
He can't fix it. There's nothing he can do. And the whole time I'm just like, oh, we should have canceled. We should have canceled. So get down the road, and I have this brilliant idea. Since we can't snowmobile, I'm going to call the place right by the condo in Durango, and we're going to take a sleigh ride when we get there.
Okay. That sounds fun.
Horses. It goes to a bar. At that point, I really probably needed the bar in my life.
Yeah.
I was thinking, okay, if I
get there and need a drink.
Get this sleigh ride, then I can go straight to the bar, get a drink, and kind of drown my misery a little bit. So anyway, we make it. The kid that wasn't feeling so good, he's like, I'm all right. You know, it's not great, but I'm making it. Like, he wasn't ill. Mm-hmm. And so we get all the way to Durango. We pick up the groceries. We take them to the car. At this point, I'm sliding all over the place in the truck.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, anyway, we roll into the sleigh ride about 5 minutes before it leaves. And I realize, because of the rush of the hotel room and all that, we're still all in shorts and t-shirts. Like, we just transferred from Texas into a hotel room, slept, got up, jumped in the truck, and here we are. Mm-hmm. And it is 7 degrees outside. It's freezing. So we all jump out of the truck. I'm sliding in there. We're like waving at the whole sleighs. All the sleighs are lined up. All the people are on them waiting for us. And we're like, we're here. We're the Taylors. We're coming. And so,
let me unpack my bag really quickly.
So we had to get at least jackets.
Something.
So, I mean, we literally had nothing on.
Yeah.
So we're trying to find our boots. So everything's in the bed of the truck. So we open up the bed of the truck. We're like digging through suitcases. We're like, just a second, we didn't find our jackets. So we have all the groceries for the whole week in our car. I mean, it was just like a madhouse.
A circus?
A circus. Because that's what we do. Mm-hmm. So we get on this, and I didn't even think about my husband's back on a sleigh. Like, you're literally bumping through the
I didn't think about that either.
Sleigh.
Ouch.
And I am allergic to horses, and I have, which, it's okay.
You're not going to be near the horse.
I'm not going to be near the horse, but then my daughter loves horses, so she's rubbing the horse.
Oh.
So I've got my husband, whose back is killer, on this wooden bench bumping through the sleigh ride because I think this is magical. And I just want to put on this amazing trip for my kids. My kid, who has a little bit of an upset tummy. Mm-hmm. And then I start sneezing because I have a kid who loves horses and wants to pet the horses and then sit by me. Mm-hmm. And a kid in tennis shoes that are soaked with snow. I mean, the snow's like up to our knees.
Oh, my.
Because we weren't prepared. Anyway, we go to this little bar. It's packed, like standing room only. I order everybody hot chocolates, and I'm like, isn't this so fun? And they're like, the look on their face, they're like, can we please just go to the condo? I mean, we haven't even been to the place we're staying yet.
Or taking a shower.
That's what one of our kids was like, can I take a shower? And I was like, no time for showers, no time. Anyway. So we finally get to the condo. we see our friends, we're going to rest up. And then the next day we have a full day of skiing. We've got ski school. Like, it's just going to be
So fun.
It's going to be great. And so that night, one of our kids sleeps downstairs in the condo, and most of us are upstairs. There's, two. Mm-hmm. Well, he starts vomiting all night.
Oh.
So he was sick. And little did we know. So he's like patient zero, essentially.
Uh-oh.
So we get up on the next day, and he's like, just leave me. And I mean, he is sick. So we're like, oh, God, I hate this for him. So we go skiing. Everybody goes to ski school. Me and Hudson kind of peel off, and we do our thing. And we are skiing. All of a sudden, one of my kids comes down the mountain toward us, and he's out of control. He's flailing. He's nothing. I'm like, what are you doing? Stop! Fall down! Sit on your rear, What are you doing? And he's like, oh, I decided I would come ski with y'all instead of ski school. And I'm like, what do you mean? You can't be a ski school dropout. I paid for that. And you clearly don't know how to ski.
Yeah.
Anyway, and I mean, so I had to leave our little one like on the mountain, take off his skis, don't move, and go and like rescue the other one down. Like, it just was this whole day. So anyway, we go up, and I'm like, let's regroup. So we go up, we're at the restaurant, everyone has left. My friend goes, I just decided she goes, I dropped out of ski school too. So everyone quit ski school that we paid for. Everyone.
Didn't finish it.
Right. My husband's back hurt. Oh. My friend is like, I have too much disposable income for this. That was our
I
running
understand.
funny joke.
I do.
She was like, I can't do this anyway.
Yeah.
And so
I could be sitting somewhere with a drink by a fire.
So
and
they
looking
were all
at the
in
snow.
the restaurant. And all of them, all the kids, everybody had quit. And so they're like, we're all going back to the condo. I was like, okay. So Hudson was like, please, can we keep skiing? So we go back down. We go up the ski lift, and all of a sudden this wave of nausea rushes over me. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Oh. And I'm like, okay, so he's like the contagious kind of sick, because this. And I looked at Hudson and I was like, what do you think happens if I vomit off the ski lift? And I'm sorry that I'm saying vomit so much.
No, Stephanie.
What happens? What happens if you throw up on people below you skiing?
I mean, you just get thrown up on. Like, it's like a bird, Sometimes you just get hit with bird poop.
Anyway, so
did you throw up?
I did not. I like mastered the like breathing and closed eyes, and we came down and we went back to the con. I was like, I'm so sorry. Like, we're gonna cut this short. So for the next 3 days, everyone took turns being sick, and it was the most sick I have been in the longest time.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay. So then we have a trip home, and we're going to go to Pagosa Springs, and we're going to go to Santa Fe. Everybody feels better. It's New Year's Day. And so my friend says, well, let's just turn this trip around and let's go have fun in Pagosa Springs. So we go to the springs, which I thought were amazing. I ventured off from the rest of the group. I took a couple of my kids with me. We were sitting at Pagosa Springs, but I guess the springs they chose, there were more sick people.
Oh, no.
So here comes my friend and my husband, and they're like, we're leaving. I was like, what? No, this is the best place on earth. I'm on vacation now. This is switched from a trip to a vacation. I'm sitting in hot springs having a Bloody Mary, and it's snowing on me by a river.
That sounds amazing.
This is amazing. Yeah. Anyway, but their side of the springs wasn't as amazing. So we cut that off. We left there. We finally made it to Santa Fe for New Year's Day, and we had a beautiful stay in Santa Fe, but then had to come home the next day. And so every time I ask my kids, what was your favorite trip, or what's your favorite memory? They all die laughing, and they're like, remember the ski vacation that nobody skied and everybody got sick? And they just laugh and laugh and laugh. And so I tell you that long story just for entertainment purposes, so that you all can laugh at the Taylor Circus, but also because, we have this beautiful picture of what it should be. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, I think the messy stuff is exactly how good, solid memories get made.
Totally. I remember the last big trip that I went on with my husband. We went to Italy and Spain, and I had talked to you before when we were planning it, because you had been to, I think, Italy and Greece.
Italy and Greece, yes.
But we were going to the same part of Italy. We were going to the Amalfi Coast, and I knew you had been, and your pictures looked so magical, and I was so excited to go. And I forgot how my husband plans trips versus how other people plan trips. My husband likes to kit in as many different things as he possibly can, and to see as many places. Like when you go to Europe, he wants to see as much of Europe as he can in a short amount of time. Not exactly a vacation, because you're not relaxing. Right? And I just didn't think about it whenever I went. I love traveling with him, but sometimes it's more of a trip feel.
Right.
And this one was. And I had this vision of me lying on one of those black rock, lava rock beaches, the Amalfi Coast, with like an Aperol spritz under this bright, pretty umbrella and these gorgeous blue skies, and just watching this just deep blue, like cerulean blue water, and just relaxing. And that is not what happened. We had a wonderful time in Capri. We went there first, but getting there took like the drive to the airport, the plane, then a train, then a ferry, then a car. I mean, it took 16 hours or something. It was wild. And I don't sleep really well on economy airplanes. So I was super tired. I think he fell asleep on the ferry. I didn't, but I was cranky. So by the time we had our first meal, we'd been researching restaurants. It's one of the things we love to do before we go. And he found this restaurant he really wanted to eat at. I'm sitting down, and I'm just the worst dinner companion possible. I'm going to fall asleep in my plate. I order something I don't normally order. I have pretty standard options when I'm in Italy or eating Italian food. I randomly ordered a calzone, which I never do. It was the worst calzone I think I have ever had. And I'm just sitting there complaining. Now, granted, I'm exhausted, and I'm hungry, and I'm really unhappy with what I ordered. My choice. And I felt so bad about it later, because I don't remember what he said or exactly how he phrased it, but he was not happy with me. He was like, what is wrong with you? I'm thinking I could list it off.
Yeah.
Or I could just go to sleep. I just want to go to sleep.
Let's just try again tomorrow.
And the next day, and it really was. Capri was amazing. We had the best time. But then we left Capri and we go to Amalfi, and a rainstorm hits. There is no way. I mean, this is not like a light shower where you're just like, oh, this is a lovely sprinkle and I'm going to play in the rain. No. This is torrential downpour, and it's supposed to last 3 days. We're in Amalfi 3 days. This is not going to, this is not working out. And we were in an Airbnb. So when you're staying in an Airbnb or a VRBO, you don't necessarily have somebody at the front desk. Unless you're at a condo style, right? Where you can go get help. So we're there. There's 2 towels in the whole house.
Of course
and there's a washing machine, but there's no dryer, because in Europe you just hang things out.
There's no dryers.
So we got soaked. We went to get a coffee and a croissant that morning, and it was fine. But you could see the clouds rolling in, and we had checked the weather. We knew it was coming. So we're walking back to the condo, and it just starts pouring. And thankfully I had a backpack and kind of a rain jacket and an umbrella, but still the rain is coming up from the ground because it's raining so hard, it's you're getting soaked. So we went to a market. We bought some bread, some cheese, some wine, some meat. We're we'll just have a picnic at the condo. We'll make the best of this. Stephanie, it rained and rained. It finally stopped raining like dinner time, and we went out to have dinner, but there was no exploration to be had.
Right.
We were just stuck in the condo, and I don't even think there was a TV. I think we ended up watching a show on his iPad or something. I mean, it was just not what we were hoping for.
Yeah.
And for some reason, that's the part of the trip that I'm telling you about, because that's what happens, right?
Yeah. And it's okay. So when we went to Italy and Greece, it was magical. I mean,
your pictures did look magical.
And I'm an optimist too. So I'm like, it's fine. Everything's fine. We'll be fine. I try not to focus on the things that go wrong, but then it's what you end up talking about all the time and laughing about later. So when we went, everything was amazing, but our funniest things that we laugh about now is we got to Naples. So we went down to Amalfi and we were going to fly from Naples to Mykonos. That was our transition from Italy to Greece. And our flight was canceled at the very last. We were on the bus to go to the plane and they said, everybody off the bus. We're like, what? Why are we off the bus? And so they said, no flight tonight. And we're like, what do we do? And I'm telling you, if you have ever seen an airport full of angry Italians,
I can just imagine.
That was the best people watching ever.
Bet.
I mean, I even did the unthinkable and I took videos of this angry Italian lady yelling at the customer service lady in Italian, and they brought the police in. It was quite the show. So anyway, so we just sat patiently because we're like, I don't know what we're supposed to be doing. And we don't speak Italian. I'm not clear what any of this is about. And so they put us on a bus. They brought all these buses and it was a lot of people. They put us on a bus and this bus drives and drives and drives and drives. And I'm like,
where are we going?
Taking us to a hotel. Oh, but I don't know where that hotel was. Anyway, they drop us off. By this point, it's like midnight. We've reserved an Airbnb for 3 nights in Mykonos. And we go in this hotel. It might have been a little bit earlier than midnight, 10-ish, probably 10. We go in this hotel, and it's an abandoned hotel. They opened it to house us.
Oh, my goodness. So there's no staff.
There's no staff.
Wow.
And they said that they're going to get staff there the next morning to open the restaurant to serve us breakfast.
Okay.
So bizarre. And that they couldn't tell us anything about when we would fly out the next day or if. And they took our passports when we checked in. They held our passports. And so we're just like, I have no idea what's happening. Like, are we
being abducted?
What is this?
Yeah.
So we get out and we start walking around 10 o'clock at night. We have no idea where we are in Italy. Like, we're like trying to figure it out. And we're like, well, it's kind of the outskirts of Naples and I don't know. Anyway, so we find this little market and we buy champagne because I think champagne makes everything better.
I mean, yeah.
So anyway, we go back to this hotel. So we're going to sit there. So there's a group of 6 of us that went on our trip together. Anyway, we laughed so hard because one of the guys who was with us popped that champagne cork in the middle of this empty hotel atrium, and it was the loudest boom, and everyone who was sitting in there screams and like takes cover like it was a gunshot. I mean,
wow.
It was, and we just laughed hysterically. I mean, I'm sorry I startled those people.
Right.
But I mean, we just laughed and laughed and laughed. So we go to sleep that night. We wake up the next day, still nothing. They send buses. They transfer us to a nicer hotel that does have staff that's beautiful. We stay another night there.
Oh.
So now we've missed 2 nights.
In Mykonos.
And so finally, we just decide as a group we're going to buy new plane tickets. And so we just go on, we buy plane tickets for the next day. We get on a flight and fly to Mykonos and get a solid 24 hours there. But we made the best of it and we laughed and had fun. And so now when we sit around and talk about that, we're like, remember when we were stranded in that sketchy hotel and you popped the champagne and everybody thought there was gunshots or an explosion going off and everyone was screaming. And anyway, and we were just trying to have some champagne in Italy
because
to make ourselves feel better.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but it is those things that really stick out. So, have you ever seen the movie RV with Robin Williams?
I have. It's been a lot of years, but it's hilarious.
Oh my gosh, it's hysterical. He is supposed to go on a business trip. They were supposed to go to Hawaii. And so he lies to his family and tells them that they're going to go RVing to Colorado. Anyway, and so we watched that movie with our kids and just adore Robin Williams and all of the movies he's in. But I laughed all the way through that. So the movie's over and our kids are like, we have to go RVing.
Oh my gosh. And you're thinking, our life is this movie if we go RVing.
Well, so the next summer,
the Taylor Circus in an RV.
I know. I don't know what we think most of the times. The other thing that we do that I think it's a helpful tip for families is trying to decide where to go and, you know, what your budget is and things like that. We would do 1 year at the beach, 1 year at the mountains, or non-beach. We just called it non-beach.
Yeah.
So every other year we chose a beach location, and every other year we chose a non-beach location. So we get ready to plan what we're going to do that summer, and our kids are like, we have to go RVing like on the show. And I am not kidding you. We must have lost our minds, but Chris and I rented an RV. So we decided not to do the one that drives because... The motorhome, because then, like, you would have to tow a car, and you'd have to tow a car big enough for 6 of us, and we have zero experience RVing. Neither one of us have ever been RVing. So we rent a campsite in Broken Bow, because we think, well, that's close enough.
It's not too far.
You know, 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
And we rent an RV that we pull behind our truck. And so we're like, you know, that's doable. We know how to tow something.
Yes.
And we go and pick up the RV, and it's this nice guy. So there's this great website, RV Share.
Okay.
So kind of like Airbnb, but for RVs. And we rented it from a guy here in Tyler. Anyway, so he gave us kind of a crash course. And then we took it home and loaded it up. Now, for all of you RVers out there, that is a trip, not a vacation. Like you know, you have to pack
like
the whole
camping.
thing.
Yeah.
And the cooking, and it's a little bit primitive, and the showering, and all of the things.
All of the things.
I'm not sure I'm a very good RVer, but so we get outside of Winnsboro, and we have a flat tire.
Oh.
And it's July, and it's 96 degrees.
Is the flat on the RV or on the truck?
The flat is on the truck.
Okay.
And so my lovely husband is like, oh, I can change this. And I said, you know, we have
AAA, roadside, yeah.
assistance. Let me just call roadside. And he's like, I know how to change a tire. And I'm like, I know, but we're pulling this RV. And he'll probably be like, I can't believe you told that story. But anyway, and so our kids, we're in the middle of nowhere. They're standing on the side of the road. Everyone is sweating. My poor husband's like trying to manually crank this jack up. He detached the RV.
Good.
Which I learned that you don't actually have to do from the nice roadside assistance guy that came to our rescue.
Oh, I see where this is going.
So we're out there for at least an hour. And,
Before you called?
And it is so hot. And so finally I'm like, I'm just going to call. I'm just going to go get in. I have a kid who's like, do you think it's okay if I just go pee behind that hay bale? Sure. Why not? I don't know whose property that is. If you see someone duck, I don't know. So I get in there. I call roadside. He's there in 10 minutes. And it's, of course, this like young 20-something guy who pulls up real quick. And he's like, oh, Mr. Taylor, good to see you. Thank you for calling. Bzz, bzz, bzz.
Done.
Your tire's all done. We'll go ahead and order you a tire at my tire shop in Winnsboro, and we'll have it when you come back through, ready for you. And he's like, oh, okay. Because the extra tire wasn't that great.
Right.
Anyway, so we did go RVing. about day 1, maybe 2, we couldn't figure out how to get the water to work. We had, I mean, and it was just like the movie, like where he has to dump the sewer.
I was thinking, I was like, I bet you had to sewer dump. Yeah, it's the worst.
And we're trying to like Google everything in our shower. 6 people cannot take an RV shower. So we had to tell our kids, like, you've got to go to the shower house. And they're like, we're not going to the shower house. I'm like, who wanted to come on an RV trip?
Right.
Yeah. You're going to the shower house. Everybody go to the bathroom. So yeah, we've tried some interesting things. We decided one year we wanted to take our kids to DC for spring break.
Oh, that sounds fun.
With my parents.
Okay. So there's 8 of you now.
So now there's 8 because I think more people is a good idea. I guess I was thinking like 4 adults and 4 children. Like then we could be a little one-on-one, have a little support. And 2 days before we were supposed to leave, the rental car company called and said, well, they've recalled all of our, I think I had rented like a Ford Expedition. They recalled them.
Oh, no.
So we don't have a car for you. And I'm like, but I'm going on spring break and I need seating for 8. So my mom had a friend. My mom knows everyone. So she had a friend that had like a 15-passenger church van.
Okay.
So that's what we used.
Well, that was kind.
And we drove all the way to Washington, D.C. in a 15-passenger, bouncy, no frills church van. But, and so they say the same thing. They're like, remember when we went to D.C. in the 15-passenger van? They don't remember anything about what we saw, but they remember how we got there because it was ridiculous and hysterical and...
Yes.
And that's what they remember. And I just think that that's what travel is all about is learning new things and exploring new things and having an adventure. And I think you learn how to problem solve from it.
Oh, my goodness,
and you learn how to be optimistic and have a great time and laugh at yourself.
Yes.
Because that's what you're going to laugh about later, which I think is the amazing part.
And if you can laugh about it when it's happening... Why not? Because otherwise you're miserable. And there's just no, like, you're already there. Yeah. Like, why not try to make the best of it? I remember thinking that as we were picnicking in this Airbnb. It was just, that
sounds amazing to me.
It wasn't bad. It really wasn't. We had some wine and food and stuff. And I think I ended up like maybe reading a book. Actually, long story short on this, because I could make a really long story, but the podcast episodes that I do on books with my friend Kelly, I first read that book on that trip when I was in a train. We were riding, I think we were in Italy going from Amalfi. We left early. We left a day early because we knew it was going to continue raining. So we pivoted and we did 2 days in Rome instead of 1 before we went to Spain.
Perfect.
And it worked out.
Yeah.
And on that train ride, I had pulled up a book that my friend had written. It was a fantasy romance. I finished it and I was like, well, what am I going to read now? And the recommended read was A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. And so I started reading that book and the first, 40 pages, I was like, okay, I'm just going to read this book because I downloaded it. And then I became like obsessed with it.
Yes.
Couldn't put it down. The rest of the trip, anytime I'm on a plane or on a train or whatever, I'm reading this book and it's fascinating. That was 2 years ago. And I think I've reread that series 3 times.
Yep.
And now I'm podcasting about it. But it happened on that trip. It's weird. It's amazing. Like, I made the best of it. And now, like, it's something that I really enjoy and have found a lot of, connection with online, too, with people that I didn't expect. It's so bizarre how things like that happen.
It really is. And I think that that's what travel is all about. Is, finding yourself, finding things you love, finding... connecting with others. And so between my sisters and our spouses and our kids, there's 16 of us.
Oh my.
And so my mom loves to go on a trip every year, which is very difficult to coordinate.
With all of you, yeah.
But one of the things that we did, and it's just about being together. So this year we went back to Broken Bow, which we've done before. And we really, the 2 times we've been to Broken Bow, we really just like did more of just playing games in a cabin together. It's more about just disconnecting and getting away. But one of the things, so my 10-year-old niece, she's just as sweet as she could be. She goes, I want to have a paint party. This is what she says.
Yeah.
And so we just said, okay, we'll coordinate that and we'll all come to your paint party. So she set it all up on the patio, and this is an idea for everyone listening that I thought was so clever. She gave us all, just a regular sheet of kind of cardboard type paper, and she set out paints for us. And this is my whole family. So from 5-year-olds up, to 23-year-old, my parents, my dad doesn't participate in anything, but he came to the table. And anyway, we drew names, and you had to paint a portrait of the person's name that you drew.
I bet that was wildly entertaining.
My sisters and my mom come from an artist background.
That's right.
We talked
They're
about
pretty
that
talented.
They're pretty talented. So it's not something that everybody wanted to do, but then when we did it, it was so fun. So my dad drew my name, and he drew like this stick figure, and my face was all red. And I was like, is that because you wear red lipstick all the time? I was like, I don't know what. I don't know what's going on. But I brought it home. We all kept our portraits.
Aww.
And I brought it home and put it on my shelf in my office. And that, it's just these small things. So it doesn't have to be this huge grand adventure. It can be something just as fun as let's paint each other's portrait. And it was, we laughed and laughed and laughed. And now every time I walk in my office, I'm like, LOL, I'm a red stick figure. Apparently my face is always red and my hair is always red, and I guess I always wear red lipstick. I don't know. But it's something you'll have forever, And so anyway, just looking at those moments, and I just have stories that could go on and on. Some of my family lives in Seattle. We took our kids, flew to Seattle a couple of years ago, rented a car. Our car broke down in the middle of downtown Seattle.
Oh, my goodness.
And then we couldn't get a rental car. It was during COVID. There were no rental cars.
Yeah.
Luckily, my uncle's like, I got a truck, but you'll have to pack in there. We're like, oh, we know how to do that. So, luckily, I had family there to borrow a car from. But I think even if we didn't, we would have made the best of it. And so, those are the things my kids talk about. Remember when our car broke down? Remember when we drove the passenger van? Remember when nobody skied on a ski trip? And so I just encourage all of the families and women listening, take the time to take those trips, travel, learn something new, make new memories, but that it's okay, and to give yourself grace when things don't go as planned, because those are the things that you're going to hold on to forever.
Hey guys, it's Mandee. Have you been struggling to lose those extra pounds? Oh, I know. I have totally been there. An extra 15 to 20 pounds can totally creep up on you in perimenopause. Or at least it has with me, and I think I found it early. I hope it's not happening to you. But if it is, I've got the solution. You can lose up to 15 pounds in 8 days with an incredible product line that I found and I want to share with you. Get a custom product recommendation with a complimentary wellness screening in the show notes. Just click Zing with Mandee.